And finally, I got the emu eggs in this box. I'm gonna unpack, and I'm gonna have to use this digital scale to measure these one by one, and of course label them so I know which one has measured, because the humidity has to be monitored. They have to lose a certain percentage every week. Not everyone does the measuring. That certain percentage is between 15 and 18% for the entire course of the incubation. Just to show how nice this was wrapped, there is like a big old bubble wrap, smaller, and then these, I'm not sure what is this, plastic or paper. Alright, well, this is a huge one. Yeah, I think this is bigger. Let's see how much this weighs. Oh yeah, 640. Grams are more accurate. It has to be 1 unit. So let's see how much it weighs. It weighs 547.5 grams. So I'm gonna take a note. Okay, so the story is that I have ordered these eggs from a farm, Emu Ostrich farm from the state of New Mexico, and it took, I think, 3 or 4 days. So I was a little bit worried how the eggs gonna survive such a long trip, and how the male gonna treat them. And eventually, actually, what happened, I think they were supposed to come, I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3 days, but they were 1 day late. So then the mailing became free, and the person who shipped it was able to get the money back from me, and so eventually the shipping became totally free. She transferred the money back, so that was nice. So I have to mention that I was really inspired by the family, YouTuber family, White House on the Hill, because they hatched the emu, and I would have never thought to do the same. I wanted to buy an emu chick, but since their emu came out so nice and sweet, I thought, oh, maybe I should try the same. If they were successful, maybe I'm gonna be successful too. But of course, you never know. I mean, I try to do everything accurate by the book, but there are variables other than me, of course. But it's not just me. I mean, I can do the best job if these eggs were actually not cooled, because some people say, yeah, the eggs have to be cooled with ice during shipping. The lady who shipped it for me, she said no, she's been doing it for many years, and they don't really have to be iced. It's gonna be fine. So I don't know, it's kind of scary, because overall I spent over $600 on these eggs. I ordered 6 eggs, but she gave me a little discount. She gave me 1 egg free, and so I was receiving 7 eggs. I have to mention that I was also considering to drive to New Mexico State from California State. The drive is about 11 hours long, so it's not simple, and it will cost me a few $100s. If I go with my truck, it would probably cost me at least $300. If I go with my motorcycle, probably 100. So because you don't know how the male is gonna store, or how gentle they're gonna be with the boxes. Sometimes you hear crazy examples. I think our male person here, the lady personally, is very nice. So the person who puts down the box, but of course there's not one person handling the mail. There's so many people going from one truck to the other, and you don't know what temperature they are stored at. Like the storing temperature normally with these eggs is supposed to be, I think, 50 and 60 degrees, somewhere around 50-60 degrees before incubation. So the incubation temperature was recommended to be like 97.5, but I was doing the research and some people mentioned that at the 95 Fahrenheit is better and is closer to the natural body temperature of the male emu, because actually you would be surprised if I tell you that the male is hatching the eggs. It's not the female. Of course the female is making the egg, but a male is sitting on the eggs, so that 95 is closer, and I hear that the results might be better too. The chicks takes longer to hatch, so from a standard like 52 and 56 days, which is kind of long, it can take even some extra days if you do the hatching at a lower temperature. Even initially I set my incubator to 97.5, but then hearing about all about this data, I decided to go lower to like 96 Fahrenheit. Just in case anybody was noticing or wondering about the shirt I'm wearing, it's one of my favorite shirts. This is from Hungary, Hungary, and this is an Ironman finisher shirt. I did that race, I forgot what year, but yeah, it's the same as the Hawaiian distance. It's a long distance triathlon, which is like a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and 26.2 mile running, which is the marathon, of course. Yeah, beautiful memories. So I'm placing these eggs in the incubator trays. Those trays were pretty expensive. I think $80 each or something. But the crazy thing that the incubator, this Digital Sportsman, the brand is GQF Manufacturing, and Digital Sportsman Cabinet Incubator 1502. It was about $1,000 when I bought it, and the crazy story, probably because of this pandemic, all of a sudden they're out of stock. They don't have any supplies. I suppose it's the digital control part, or I have no idea which part. So they're out of stock, and I think they'll only be back on stock maybe in April. But in the meanwhile, I saw on Amazon that two sellers selling it for $2,000. So this is insane. The price has doubled from $1,000 to $2,000 as of now. And unfortunately, the incubator is not the only thing because of this health crisis and what's going on in China. I'm not sure, but many items like graphics cards, computer graphics cards, which I had to buy also for mining cryptocurrency, but those prices are doubled too. So the incubator is not the only thing that the price has just doubled. So as you can see, I was starting out with 31% humidity and 97.5 Fahrenheit temperature. So the buttons might look scary for the first time, but it's really simple. There is a temperature down and up, which you have to hold for 5 seconds to actually do something. There's set temperature, increment temperature. The set temperature is the target, and the increment is what is actually happening. and there's a manual for the manual rotation of the tray, and if you push the auto, then it's gonna be automatically rotated every hour by default.
Nice.
So you have to use the manual when, let's say it was on auto, and the trays are usually going like a 45-degree angle. You cannot take the tray out or put the tray in if it's like in a 45-degree angle. So you have to hold down the manual button to straighten them out, and that's when you can push the tray in or take the tray out. And of course, when you're done, you can do automatic. And so one thing I wasn't sure, but people say like you should rotate at least 3 or 5 times a day, but you can rotate as much as 12 or 24 times. So the trays can only rotate in it cannot rotate in a full 360 because of course the eggs would fall off. So that's why I decided like every 3 hours I'm gonna rotate them 180 degrees, and the eggs are laying for the emu eggs. They wouldn't even really fit on a tray, so I lay them on the side and I take them out and rotate them with my hands every 3 hours, and then when I put it back in the incubator I switch it to auto, so it will rotate also every hour. So on the top shelf you see the GQF logo. That's the water tray in the plastic that contains the water, and you cannot adjust the humidity digitally. So the only way to adjust that if you change the evaporating surface of the water. So you can fill up the tray as much as you want. The quantity of the water doesn't matter because it has the same surface. So the way you can decrease that, you put aluminum foil. That's what I put, aluminum foil on the top of the tray to block, and you have to adjust it based on what is your environment. Of course, as a rainy weather you have to block it more, and if it's a very dry weather then you should expose as much as possible. Of course, after you opened it, it has to adjust back to the target. Okay, so I filled this up around halfway. It doesn't change the evaporating surface. It doesn't change the evaporating surface. I filled it up with water halfway. But now I'm gonna block some of the surface with foil. So this is the experiment to block some of the surface for evaporation, and hopefully this is gonna decrease the humidity. Alright, this is the second time I did this. It's a little bit more aesthetic, but the point is that I increased the surface with reducing the surface of the foil covering the tray. So now I'm gonna have a higher humidity. So now it is definitely getting closer and closer to what we want. Humidity and the temperature. Humidity is 30% is nice. We still need to reach the 97.5. Okay, so this button is the one that's gonna make the eggs turn automatically. I just have to press a little bit harder or longer, I guess, but it's fine. And the blinking yellow is perfect. So the blinking yellow just means that the temperature is maintained by the incubator. The humidity 32% is okay. Not go past 35, although some documentaries were talking about 40. I have seen an old documentary, but most of maybe it was just too old and they didn't have the right measurements But definitely if you Google, like everybody says, have the humidity between 25 and 35%, and you might need to adjust it depending how much weight the egg will lose. If the eggs don't lose enough weight, that means you have to reduce the humidity, and if the eggs would lose too much weight, then you would have to maybe increase the humidity. Okay, so let's rotate the trays in a straight position so we can take it out. To do that, you have to go to the side and have this button called this button manual until the trays are straight. Okay, kind of straight. You have to release a little bit earlier because they go beyond. Final words. Let's hope that the eggs lose the correct 15 to 18% weight for the entire course of the incubation. Losing weight means the eggs are losing water and carbon dioxide naturally. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more useful and fun stuff.